Okay. Online folks are able to hear me. I'm also sharing my screen. Do you guys see my screen? Okay. Did you guys do the assignment? Yeah. You got it? Adding two integers or whatever data type. Don't worry about data type. Worry about concept. Okay. You can use anything. Okay. You did addition, subtraction and multiplication. All of you guys done? Did you guys do the assignment? Functions? If you have not done, try to do it. So, but I never force like this way, but since it is mandatory to have functions, so try to do the assignment of the functions if you have not yet done. Okay. Any questions you guys have? You want to say no? Anand, right? Completed? For all he is saying. Okay. You have any questions on functions before starting today session? You all understood functions, right? So I'll repeat again. Function is nothing but set of error occurred during the installation of boot layer. No. What should I do? Create new package. Create new project and try to do it. Even I get that error sometimes, maybe due to some issue while it is creating a project. There is no option. You have to create another project. If you have any files here, just copy those and put it into new project. Okay. Okay. Let's move on to functions. So what we did, function is nothing but set of statements or group of statements which are mainly used for specific purpose. Functions are mainly used for specific purpose or specific task. So what is the task here? We have addition of the numbers, right? What is the purpose? Adding the numbers. Every function will have a name. So make sure you give the proper, make sure you write the proper function name. So you should give the proper function name. Why I'm giving my function name as add? Because I wanted to add the two numbers. You can give any name also. You can give Ashok also, no issues. You can give your name also, no issues. But when you go to project, if you give your name, no one will accept. So they will always tell you to give the proper naming conventions for the functions. Okay. Now what we did yesterday, we have every function will have two things. One is definition and another one is calling. If you don't call, it will not go to the definition. If you want your function to go to the definition, you have to call the function. If you don't call it, it will not go to the definition. As simple as. Okay. Now every function will return a value. Every function will return a value. It doesn't mean you should return a value. It's up to you. You wanted to return it, You don't want to return it, just ignore it. Okay. Now if your function does not return a value, you have to put as a void. If function is not returning any value, you have to put void. Void means nothing. If a function doesn't return any value, always remember you have to put void. Wherever you see void, it means the function is not returning any value. Okay. Now how many times I'm calling the function here in this example? Line number 9, line number 11. How do you call a function? Object name dot function name, right? What is my object name? OBJ. How do you create an object? Class name space object name space equal to new class. Okay. How many times I'm calling here? Here also calling and here also calling. How many times it will execute? How many number of times you are calling? That many times it is going to execute. It's up to you. There is no restriction that you have to call only one time, or there is no restriction that you have to call only 2 times. It's up to you. How many times you wanted to call a function, you can go ahead and call the function. Okay. Now, how many times it will execute? 2 times, because you are calling it 2 times. So how many times it is executing? 2 times. Sum of 2 numbers, sum of 2 numbers, right? Now, do you want to add same numbers again and again? Once you added, right? You got the result, Why you want to add again same numbers? What are we doing here? We are trying to add how many times we are calling? 2 times. What numbers it is adding? 10 and 20 only. So why you think you need to call again to add the same numbers? Once you got a result, you are done, right? Why you think you need to call it again and again? Now, what if I wanted to add the different numbers? What if I wanted to add the different numbers? If you look at the syntax, right? Yesterday, which I showed you the syntax here. Now, what is my syntax? Okay. What is the syntax for function? Return type. What is our function return type? Void. Why are we writing void here? Because it is not returning any value. Then function name. What is our function name? Add. So what is this? Another thing it is saying parameters list. Parameters list means function can take the parameters also. Function can take the parameters. Some people call it as a parameter. Sometimes some people will call it as a arguments. Are you providing any arguments or etc.? Now, what I wanted to do while calling the function, I will send the values from here itself. While calling a function, I will give some values like this. This is called parameterization. What is happening when I am calling it multiple times? Same numbers it is adding again and again. But this time what I wanted to do, this time I wanted to add some different numbers. So first time what I wanted to add 10 comma 20. Next time what I wanted to add 60 whatever 60 comma 90 whatever the data. So this, are you guys getting advantage of the function? You are writing function only once, you are reusing it multiple times. Why am I reusing? Sometime I wanted to add some 2 numbers, next time some other 2 numbers, so I wanted to add different numbers. So call the function, give the number. Call the function, give the number, which numbers you wanted to add. Okay, call the function and give the numbers, what numbers you wanted to add. Now this is called parameterization of the function. Function will take the parameters. How many parameters? They, based on my understanding, there is no limit. You can give any number of parameters. Okay. The second one, function will return a value, but how many values it can return? Check your notes. I clearly made you notes. Function can return only one value. Function can return at a time only one value. It cannot return multiple values. But function can take multiple parameters. Function can take multiple parameters. Don't think it should take only integers. It's up to you. It can take one integer. It can take one float. It can take one double, etc., etc. It's up to you what you wanted to add. No, there is no restriction. Both should be integer only. There is no restriction. Both should be double only. There is no restriction. Both should be float only. There is no restriction. Any number of parameters you want, you can provide it. Any data type also you want, you can provide it. Right now, what values it is taking? Integer. How many values it is taking? 2. This is called what? Function calling. So when I call a function, where it goes? It goes to the definition of the function. Whenever I'm calling a function, where it will go? Definition of the function. Where is the definition? Here. Now this time it is coming with 2 values. Previously it empty, right? Now it is coming with how many values? 2 values. What are the data type? Integer. 10 and 20 is what? Integer only. By default, it will consider integer. So now I have to declare one variable here. It can be any name. Int x comma y. I don't need this. Are you guys getting what I'm doing? Now you are calling a function, but when you are calling a function, now you are providing the parameters. How many parameters? two parameters. What data type? Integer data type. So it will come to the definition with the two values. It will come to the definition with the two values. So you have to declare some temporary variables. You have to declare some temporary variables in the definition. 10 will be stored in X, 20 will be stored in Y. Is it clear? If you don't give any parameters, just leave this also empty. If you are providing parameters, this should be depending upon what you are giving here. Always remember what you are providing, based on that you have to update here. If you are providing float values, you have to update float. You are giving double, you have to give the double. One float, one integer, it should be one float and one integer. Don't think I should go only with the integer, and don't think only two parameters. Don't think both should be integer. No, it's up to you. There are no restriction. There is no restriction. You can give any number of parameters, and also any data type also allowed. Don't think both should be the same data type. Okay. Now 10 will be stored in where? X. 20 will be stored in Y. So this one I have to say what? X plus. Is it clear? Do you understand the difference between yesterday function and this function? Yesterday there was no parameters. Yesterday there was no parameters. Today we are providing the parameters also. Now how many times it will execute? How many times we are calling? 2 times. What value first time? 10 and 20. Second time? So how many values you wanted to add? That many times you have to call. Okay, don't think first time I will call in 2 parameters, second time 3 parameters. It will not work that way. It will not work that way. If you are giving 2 parameters, second time also you have to give the 2 parameters only. It will not work first time 2 integers, second time 2 float, third time 4 variables. It will not work. Once you decided. You cannot change it. If you want to give more parameter, declare one more function. Okay, just try to run it. So sum of the two numbers. First time it is adding 10 comma 20. Next time it is adding 60 plus 90, 150. This is called parameterization of the function. This is called parameterization of the function. We provide parameters while calling the function. Make a note. Parameterization of the function. A function can take the parameters. Function can take the parameters. Function can take the parameters. We need to provide the parameters. We need to provide the parameters. We need to provide the parameters while calling the function. We need to provide the parameters while calling the function. Example, you can make line number 9. Example, you can mention like this. Example, line number 9, you can make a note. Line number 9 is what? Calling of the function, right? Once it is done, let me know. Okay. Now next line, function can take any number of parameters. Function can take any number of parameters Function can take any number of parameters and any data type. Any number of parameters and any data type. Any type of the data. 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 Okay. Now you understood parameterization of the function. Function can take any number of parameter. There is no restriction. Okay. But function can return at a time only one value. Now, once you call a function, where it will come? Definition of the function. Once it executed the definition, where it will go? In which line I am calling the function? Line number 9. Where it will go? Line number 14. It will execute all the lines of your definition of the function. Then where it will go back? Line number 10. Line number 9 itself is calling. Always remember, it will go back to the line number 9 only. Once you execute the function, it will go back to the same line where you called. In which line I called? It will go back to the line number 9. Now I will explain you why it will go to the same line. You'll understand. Now I said function can return a value also. Function can return a value also. Now I don't want to print the result here. I don't want to print the result here. I wanted to return the value. I wanted to return the value of the function. Now, instead of printing it here, did you made a note for what you call? Okay, return. What is a variable? Where you are storing the result? What is x plus y? Addition. Where are you storing the result? In variable. What is variable? Sum. So return sum. Now, as soon as I put return sum, I immediately getting the error. Why? Now what it is doing? Function is returning a value. Previously, it was not returning any value. If it is not returning, what we are going to put? Void. Now what it is returning? Sum. Sum is what? A variable. What data type? So do I need to have void here? What should be there? Again, I repeat, what it is returning? Sum. Sum is what? Variable. What data type? Integer. So what it is returning? Integer value. So what should be, what according to the syntax, what should you write first? Return type. You should mention return type. So what is the return type here? So put the cursor. Change method return type to. Just type here. Are you guys getting? What we are trying to do? We are trying to return. A function can return how many values? How many values it can return? Only one value. You cannot return multiple values. Can I say return x comma y? Okay. Now I'll put one where when you call a function where it comes, line number 9 you are calling. Where is the definition? Line number 14. It comes to the definition. It execute lines of code. After executing lines of code, where I said it will go? It will go to the same line. It will go to the same line where I am calling line number 9. Now while coming, it is coming with two values. Are you guys getting? When you are calling, it is coming with the two values. Values you are storing in x and y. Now after execution, it is returning back. When it is returning a value. When it is returning a value. Where it will go? To the same line. So you are storing 10 in x, 20 in y, right? What are you doing? 10 is stored in where? X. 20 is stored in where? Why? So same way, when it is returning with a value. It is returning with a value. So where should you save that value? Where I'm calling here. I'll declare one variable called sum equal to. Let's not confuse. I'll declare one more variable name. Total equal to. Are you guys getting? First, what we did, no parameters. First, no parameters at all. Now what we are doing, we are giving parameters. Then what we did, we printed the result in the definition. Now I don't want to print it here. Example, I wanted to return the result. If I wanted to return the result, it is going with some value, right? That value, I'm storing it in a total. Now you understood after a definition why they are sending it to the same line. You guys understood why it is sending to the same line? In case if you return a value, it should go back to the same line where you guys can store the return value. Where you guys can store return value. What is the sum value now? The 20 plus 20, 30, right? What it is returning? 30. 30 will be stored in where? Total. What I will do? I will print the result here. What is the variable name? Total. Executed. Now this one also returning, right? Here also you are returning the value. I already declared total, so I will use the same variable. It will override the value. First time it will store what? In total 30. Next time what values you are sending? 90 plus 60. What is the value of sum? 150. Now total will be replaced with 150. Okay. Now I have to put the same system.out.println. Got it? Concept is same, output is same, result is same. How you are implementing is different. First time how we implemented? No parameters. Second time what we implemented? With the parameters and it was not returning any value. But now what we are doing? We are sending the parameters. We are also returning the result, returning the value. Try to run. Same output, there is no much difference. Is it clear? Function will return a value, but how many values it will return? Only one value. Let's take an example. I am putting one system.out.println just to tell you one concept. After return, why error? It is not allowing even to put there. Unreachable code it is saying. What it is saying? Unreachable code. Why? Why it is unreachable? What I am trying to show you guys is once you return, you should not put any statements after return. Any statements in the function definition you wanted to put them before return itself. In simple term, return should be the last one. If you return, it will not come back again. It will go. Again I am calling. Again it is returning. After returning, if you are putting any statements after return, it is not going to execute them. But it's not even allowing to put the code. By mistake, if you put it also, it is not allowing you to put the code. It is trying to give you error. That's what I'm trying to explain. So if you return means it is returned. After return, you have any lines of code, it is not going to execute. Is it clear? Or any questions? Okay, don't put remove. In older version, I think it was allowing you to return a value, but in the latest version, after the upgraded version, it is not allowing to write any statement after return. Is it clear? I repeat, function is nothing but set of statements. This is what set of statement. This is what set of statements which are used for specific purpose or for specific task. So what is my specific purpose? Example, addition of the number. Another purpose is for what? Login. I wanted to log in. Another purpose is what? Add beneficiary. Another purpose is what? Transfer funds. Okay. Every function has specific purpose. You just don't write a function just like that, right? So now function have two things. One is calling and one is definition. Every function will have the calling and function will have the definition, right? Whenever you call a function, it will come to the definition. If you call it, it will come to definition. If you don't call, your lines of code will not be executed. Functions can take the parameters. We understood, right? We are giving the parameters now. Function can take any number of parameter. There is no restriction, but function can return at a time only one value. There is no rule that you should give only two integers. If you are confusing, I will change this to double. 10 comma 90. One double and one integer. Next one is what? Same thing you should put. 0.90. This also double. Now immediately, it is immediately giving an error. See why it is giving an error? You are giving one double and one integer. But what you are putting in definition? Both integers. What is the problem? You have to fix it here. Now see the error. Change method, add into to add double comma int. It is already giving a fix. If you know this concept, you can easily understand why it is asking. Just put it. It automatically adding the double here. Now next error you are getting again, line number 17. Why? Result is in what? Double means decimal. Double means decimal. Can you store decimal value in integer? Now you got the error here. Now one more error. Are you guys getting one by one? One by one. Okay, I will show you from beginning again. Now what I did, I changed this. I changed these to what? Double data type. Whenever I change, immediately I'm getting the error. Why? Because your definition is saying I'm taking two parameters of integer only, but your calling is trying to send one double and one integer. Does it work? Can you store double value in integer? So first to fix what we are trying to do, we are changing the data types here. Double and int. Okay, don't worry, D and Y it is taking on its own. It's a variable name, it can be anything. Immediately it is giving line number 17 error. Why? Result is in double. Don't get afraid. Why I'm keep on getting so many errors? There is a reason for every error. What is the next one? Sum. What is the result? Double, decimal. What is the data type? Integer. So what I have to change? Change the data type to double. Now one more error. Written. Why this one more error? It's keep on giving me errors. Don't lose your patience. There is something we are doing. It is not correct. It is suggesting, right? What is the next one? Why return some error? What are you returning? What are you returning? Sum. What data type sum? No, double is what data type? Sorry, sum is what data type? Double. What is your return type of the function? Is it matching? You are saying I'm returning the double, but you are putting return type as integer. So what should I change? You should change return type to double. Look at, remember the syntax. Return type. Function can return a value. So what value is returning? That matters. It is returning what? Sum. Sum is what data type? Double. So I have to change the integer to double. It is already giving a fix. Use it. Are you guys getting? You can pass any type of parameters. Don't think I have to give only two integers. Don't think I have to give only two numbers. If you wanted, you can give the three numbers also. It's up to you. Is it clear or any questions? Whatever function, two functions you have written yesterday, can you try to modify like this? Can you guys try to modify it to parameterization you implement and again implement return type also? You will remember or you want to note down? You will remember, right? If you are already done the assignment, I am asking you to modify it according to the what we are implementing today. Okay. Is it clear, online folks, or any questions? Why again? See, after changing double here, again I'm getting errors here. Now I want you guys to tell me why I'm getting those errors. What are you returning? Sum. Sum is what data type? Double data type. Where are you trying to store? Can I store double value in integer? See how many fixes you have to do. If you change one simple thing, you have to fix everywhere. Otherwise, it will not allow. Now, this one should be changed to what? It will also have a fix for you. Done. Once you change your parameter, you have to change the definition. Once you change the return type from integer to double, you also change the return type. Everything you have to change it. Now, did we talk local variables and global variables? Okay. Now, what is my variable name here? What is this? Who's talking here? Lot of noise. Just try to listen. Okay. Now, what is my variable name? What is my variable name here? Can I put same name? Can I use the same name? Hmm? Where is line number 11? This is already declared, right? You don't need to declare multiple times. If you declare a variable once, you can use it everywhere. Sum is already declared. I don't need to declare again double sum. I'm reusing the same variable. Instead of creating new variable, I'm trying to reuse the same variable. Okay. Can I have more than one variable with the same name? Here I have how many variables I have here? Two variable. Both the variable, what is the variable name? Both the variables are, what is the name? Here what I am declaring? Sum. Here what I am declaring? So both the variables are having what? Same name. Can I have more than one variable with the same name? Is it throwing any error? It means it's allowed. It means if it is not throwing me any error means it is allowed. If you wanted to run it, run it. Same output you will get. There is no change. I gave that variable name as a total just to explain you this concept. Okay. Now, what is the don't note down anything. I'll give you notes. Now, what is the conclusion? More than one variable can have the same name. Is that correct? That's what I'm showing here. Now, I'm declaring one variable here. Can I declare sum again? Is it allowing? Where it is allowing? You're getting error, right? Is it allowing? Then why it is allowed there and why it is not allowing here? Okay, break is a keyword. Break is what? Break is to break the block. How many blocks you have here? 2 or 4 blocks or 3 blocks? How many blocks you are having? See again. Now, if I put a cursor, what it is saying? Duplicate local variable sum. What it is saying? Local variable. What it is saying? Local variable. So there is a concept called global variables and local variables. There is a concept of local variables and global variables. Local is one block. Another block is another local. How many blocks you have total? 3 blocks. One is for class. Class is also one block, right? So you're opening the class. You're closing where? Here. That is also one block. This is what function is. One block. Main is another block. So how many blocks you have total? 3 blocks. So if you declare one variable with one name in one block, You cannot give same name in the same block. Now main is different block, add is different block. Are you guys getting? Main is starting here and closing in the line number 13. Add is a new block. Again, this is closed. This is a new block. What I have? This is the new block where I am trying to declare same variable name. If it is a different block, always remember this concept. If it is a different block, you can declare a variable with the same name. If it is the same block, you cannot declare it in the same block. Okay, just make a heading: global variables and local variables. Otherwise, you can mention type of variables. Type of variables. Local variable, type of variables. Type of variables. Local variable. Local, first one, local variable. Make a notes for it. Put a colon. Local variable. If you declare any variable, make a note for local variable. If you declare any variable within the block, if you declare any variable within the block, that variable, if you declare any variable within the block, that variable is known as a local variable. That variable is known as a local variable. That variable is known as a local variable. Continuation, life and scope. Continuation. Life and scope. Life and scope of the variable. Life and scope of the variable. Life and scope of the variable. Life and scope of the variable is local only. Life and scope of the variable is local only. What do you mean by local? Block. Main is one block, that is one local. Add is one block, that is one local. Switch is one block, that is the local. Wherever you see open and close, that is called as block. If I am declaring one open and close, that is local to that block only. Life and scope of the variable will be only local to that block. Now, next question you should ask me, I already declared sum here. Why can't I use the same sum here? Why I am declaring it? Generally, you should ask this question. Why I am declaring variable again? Sum is already declared here, right? Why should I, otherwise I declared sum here. Why I have to declare again here? Because this block don't know what is in this block. And this block don't know what is in this block. These two are separate blocks. Are you guys getting what I'm saying? These two are separate blocks. As long as separate block, it is a separate variable. Main block will not, main block don't know what is the sum. This add block will don't know what is the sum variable in the main. So there is no connectivity. This is separate block and that is separate block. Once you declared in the main, it is only to the main, local to the main. Once you declare it outside the main, like add function, it is local to only add function. Life and scope will be local only. Life and scope means you can, that variable will have a life and scope of access to add only. You cannot access it in the main block. Main block cannot access the sum variable. This variable cannot be accessed there. Their variable cannot be accessed here. It's a local to the block. That is called local variable. Now, when I try to declare sum here, why I was getting error? Now try to declare sum again here. I'll say int sum. Again, you will get error. Is it allowing? Because there is already one variable called sum. You are declaring it again, the sum means it will not allow. But does it allow to declare it here? It allowed, because that is a different block and this is a different block. This block will not know what is the sum of main. Okay, is it clear? That is called local variable, local to the block. Okay, now make a note. You understand the local, right? Or you wanted to give me block main is one block, add is another block. You don't need to, you can easily understand that, right? Yeah. Now I'll make a note, global variables. Global variables. Global variables. Global variables are allowed. Global variables are allowed everywhere. Global variables can be allowed. Global variables are allowed to use in every block. Global variables are allowed to use in every block. Global variables are allowed in every block. Now, what is a global variable? Now, all these things, this main is coming and the add is coming under which block? See, this is one block. Main is one block. Add is another block. These are two different blocks, correct? These two different blocks coming in where? How many blocks you have total? 3. All these two blocks coming under where? Class. So global variables are nothing but, what did you note down? Can be accessible in everywhere. Okay, continuation. If you declare any variable, if you declare any variable inside the class, if you declare any variable inside the class, then that variable is known as global variable. Then that variable is known as global variable. Got it? Local means local to the main, local to the add, local to the subtraction function, local to the multiplication function, local to the main. Global means all these local blocks are coming under where? Class block. All these under coming under class block. So can I declare one variable? If I declare any variable here, it can be accessible everywhere. It can be accessible everywhere. Where are we declaring this sum? We are declaring it inside the class. Inside the class means main is also coming inside the class. So main also knows this sum. And add also knows this sum. Okay. If you declare any variable inside the class, then that is known as a global variable, because any block you are writing, either switch block or function or loop block, if block, else if block, whatever blocks you are writing, all these blocks are coming under class itself. All these are coming under class itself. Okay. Now, if you look at for example, for loop example, which we have discussed, if you declare the for loop, see, this is one, correct? This is one block where I am declaring int I inside the for loop. I mean, it knows I is known only till line number 10. Only in this block, I is having a scope and the life. Can I try to use the I here? If I say I equal to some, is it allowing? Why it is not allowing? Because it knows only in the loop. So this is one block. How many blocks you have here? How many blocks? 3 blocks. Class is one block, main is one block, for loop is another block. So where I am declaring I? Inside the loop. So I is known only inside the loop. If you come outside the loop, even I loop is, for loop is inside the main only, but it is not allowing to use I in the main also. It is not allowing to use in the main also. Why? Because it is known only from line number 7 to line number 10. After that, you don't know what is I. After that, it don't know what is the I. Okay. You understood local variable and global variable? If you are getting some error, like now, if you don't know this concept, like say I wanted to go here and I equal to some 70, 88, some value, you will get an error. You don't understand why I am getting error because variable already declared. If you don't know this concept, you don't understand why it is giving a error. So now put the cursor, what it is going to say. It is clearly saying create local variable. It is suggesting create local variable. I is local to the for loop only. Then you would confuse why I already declared I. Why it is asking? Because of this concept. Okay. Is it clear? If you wanted to use the I everywhere in every block, where I have to declare it? I want to use it in every block, everywhere. Inside the class. So what I can do, I can just delete it here. Now I will go and put it inside the class. Here I'll say int I. Sorry. Why it's not allowing? Yeah, I think it will tell suggest one quick change I to static. Okay. The static concept we will discuss because we are writing it inside the main. Main is a static. So it is asking to declare this variable as a static. I think this is covered for you. Static is covered. I think someone was saying static is already explained. Huh? Explained, right? Java. Some Ravi Shankar or some trainer came, right? He already explained static. Okay. Basics. Okay, don't worry why I'm getting that error because I have to declare that as a static because main is a static. I'm using it inside the static. Static not done. Okay. Now make a note recursion function. Recursion. RECURISIN. Recursion. RECURSION. Recursion function. Make a note. A function which calls itself. A function which calls itself. A function which calls itself is known as recursion function. Function which calls itself. It means you have what function you have here? You have add function. Here I am calling that function. A function which calls itself. Function calling itself. Add is calling add. Is called as a recursion. Understood? Function calls itself is known as recursion function. People might ask you, most of the time, 99% we don't use it in the real-time automation. But maybe people might ask you from interview point of view. When they ask about functions, they might ask you what is a recursion function. What is the recursion function? Function which calls itself. Do you guys remember there was one movie, Karthik is calling Karthik? Karthik call Karthik, is it? Yeah, Karthik calling Karthik. Yeah, same. Function calling function itself. Function calling function. That is called as recursion function. Now I said one assignment, right? Factorial of the number. I said factorial of the number using loops. We already did that yesterday using the loops. And I said you can also do the recursion function using recursion function. You can also do the factorial. Can you guys try? It's not that easy. Okay, I don't think any of you will do. Let me show you the function. That will cover as example for recursion function. recursion program in Java for factorial of the number. That day we saw, right? I mean, this we already done using the loops yesterday, right? And we have using the recursion. Where is the recursion? Okay. Do you guys think you can explain me the logic? I'll put the code here. See the function definition, what I explained, I'm writing it after the main. Where I'm writing the definition after the main. You can also write the function definition first, then later also you can write the main. It's up to you how you wanted to write. But in this example, this is coming first. Definition is coming first, then main is coming next. Okay. Now, can you guys explain me the program? Can someone take program and explain me? What is a recursion? Function calling itself. Yeah. You know function definition now, right? It is taking what parameter? It is also returning. Just now we did one example to return a value and parameterization. Now what number they are taking for factorial? 4. Factorial for what? Number is 4, fact equal to 1. They are taking int I also. I don't know why they are taking int I. I don't think so I is needed. Anywhere they are using I. I is not needed. They are not using anywhere I. Are they using I anywhere? They're not using anywhere, right? I is not needed. You can delete it, not to confuse. Okay. I is not needed. So they additionally added. Now, first what they are saying, they are calling a function by giving a number. What is my function name? Don't worry why we are calling without object name. Don't go into that. Concentrate only on factorial logic. I will explain you why they are not using object, because they are creating it as a static. That we will discuss in coming sessions. So they are calling a function. What is function name? It can be any name. Why they are putting factorial? Because to find the factorial of the number. So it is returning a value. So they are storing a return result in the fact. Like what we did, we are returning there is sum. Where we are storing sum. Same thing they are doing. What they are doing? Same thing. They are returning a value. They are returning from the function, right? And they are storing it in a variable called fact. Fact is what? Integer. What is the value of fact? Same logic what we did yesterday. Now what they are doing, they are calling the function. So what is my function name? Factorial. What parameter I am providing? Number. Number is a what? Integer data type. What is the value of number? 4. So don't think I should give always numbers only like this. While calling, don't think I should give only number. Declare a variable and give that variable name also. It's up to you. That's what they are doing here. Now look at the program. First time you are calling what? What is the factorial? What is the number you are providing parameter? 4. What is the value of fact? Number 4. So what parameter I am providing? Number. What is the value of number? 4. Where it will store? You are calling function calling. You are calling the function. When you call the function, where it will go? It will go to the definition. Definition where it is going to store, 4 is going to be stored in n. They're checking for one condition. If n equal to 0, return 1. Factorial of the 0 is 1. That's what they are trying to say. Is factorial of 0 is 1? I think 1 is 1. Not 0 equal to 1, right? This is again wrong. The factorial, so because I written it in long back, 15, 20 years back. If n equal to 1, factorial of 1 is what? 1 only. 1 into 1, 1. So you return 1. We are checking if the number equal to 1, this condition is true, it will return execute. Now, if you observe, there are two return statements here. There are two return statements. You can have two return statements, but either it will execute this one or will execute this one, not both. Don't think it is returning two values. It is returning one value only. Either this condition is true, it will return 1. If this condition is false, it will come to else. Now, what is the value of n? 1 or 4? Today is Saturday, man, already. What is the value of n? Okay. When it will come here? It is a definition of the function. Where are you calling? Where are you calling? 14. What you are providing? Number. What is the value of number? 4. 4 will be stored in where? 10 is stored where? D. 20 is stored in where? Where this number will be stored? N. Why are you confusing? You understood functions? You have a calling. When you are calling, you are providing parameters. Parameter means number. What is the variable here? Variable name? Number. What is the value of number? 4. What I am saying, factorial of number. I am calling the function. Number will be stored in where? N. Why n will 1? Are you saying n equal to 1 or you are saying n equal to 1? We discussed operators. Equal to means what operator? Comparison operator. Equal to is assignment operator. Double equal to means comparison. You are immediately becoming Ghazni. I thought at least 1 or 2 days you will remember. Just now we cleared functions, right? I'm saying parameters. What parameter you are giving? Integer. What is the variable name? Number. What is the value of number? 4. Number will be stored in where? N. Right? What is the value of n? Don't think. I think someone is saying, see, you are assigning n equal to 1 here. I know what you are saying. So it's not equal. You are comparing. What is the value of n? 4. Is 4 equal to 1? Condition is false. Where it will go? Else. What are we doing in else? Return. We are returning n into. What is the function name? I'm calling. Factorial calling factorial. Are you guys confusing? Don't be like Karthik calling Karthik. Finally, I did not understand the conclusion because I think that was my third movie continuously I was watching while traveling from Canada to India. 14-hour journey. There was only a movie I was. So function calling itself is recursion. Now what you are doing? N into, what is the value of n? 4 into factorial of, mean is calling the function. What parameter is providing? N minus 1. 4 minus 1. What it will give you? 3. This time n will become what? 3. 3 not equal to 1. Again it will come to else. Again n into factorial. What is the, you need to keep on calculate the n value like what we did yesterday. Once you go home, I'll put this program in the Google class. Just once you go home, just try to take the value. What is the value of n? What is the value of n? Now 3 minus 1, 2, 2 minus 1. So it will return whatever the value it's supposed to get. What is the factorial of 4? Hmm? 20. This is using a recursion function to find out the factorial. I've already given you two approaches. One using the loop, one is using the functions. Always remember at least one question in your written test. At least one question on your technical written test. If you're going as a freshers to write the exam, at least one question will be there. Some company will ask with a loop, some company will ask with the recursion function, or they might ask you two separate questions, one for loop, one for recursion. So you should be able to write this program. If you know the recursion, what is recursion? Function calls itself. A function calling itself is known as a recursion function. So what is the function name here? Factorial. Factorial is calling factorial itself by keep on sending the parameters n minus 1, n minus 1. Always remember this function should be static. This function should be static. Why it should be static? Because this is different block and this is different block. You are calling only once. You are calling function only once. How many times it will execute? You are calling inside the function itself again the function. Okay, if you want to call a function without using the object, what did I say yesterday? Function should be called using the object name dot function name. But if it is a static function, you don't need to use the object. If it is a static, you don't need to use the object. Directly call the function itself. Okay, is getting what I'm saying? A function can call another function also. A function can call itself also. A function calling itself, what is that function? Huh? Recursion function. I think some smile is missing today, both of you guys. Serious on Saturdays. Okay, a function can call another function also. Add function can call subtraction function. Subtraction can call add function. A function calls itself, then it is called as a recursion function. Okay, these are the basics of any programming language. So I'll do one thing. I already created one folder called basics. Okay, and I put all the examples what we discussed related to functions except recursion function. I'll copy this recursion. I'll put it in this folder. Okay, what I will do is I will try to zip it and send it to you in the Google Class so that you will have all basics examples in one folder. Okay, or I can do one thing. I can even give you this project itself. You can import. That is not needed. Later we will do it. Okay, so what you have, go to desktop. It's all okay. Go to desktop basics. Send to zip file. You guys know the zip file, right? Compressed zip folder. Zip it. Okay. Just go to Google Class. Don't worry why I is declared. I is not needed here. There may be some copy pasted, so I would have come here. I think I already put sample resume, right? For fresher sample resume. Did you guys upload? For manual, yeah. Did you guys upload resume? Any calls you are getting? Then later, once automation completed, update your resume with automation skills. Then you will try to get more. Okay. Did I share FAQs with the answers, manual testing? Yeah, I mean, I already shared. You can check it. What, Devi Prasad, close it for today. You're tired with recursion? You're calling yourself now? Huh? Anyone attended any interview online, folks, or offline? Anyone? I know one guy already explained. I know she already explained. Anyone attended interviews online? Can you share the resume? Resume already shared, right? I shared resume. You're not concentrating. I already shared resume. It is already there in Google Class. Try to check it out. Okay. Just we just will not continue with the oops today. We will start oops from tomorrow, but we'll just try to recap basics of any programming language. So what are the features? What are the features of any programming language? You have face-to-face interview on Monday. You mean day after completed written test? Okay. Shilpa, can you share some questions what you got it in written test so that these guys can also try to practice those? See, you already have. I think this said interval is started. Interval is not started. Okay. So Shilpa, you can put some questions, whatever questions they asked you in the written test. So in Naukri skill added. Okay. So Saini, I don't know how to pronounce. Saini Kit, can you add some questions here? What questions they asked? In what are the portals you uploaded your resume? And Monster then? See, upload it in Naukri, upload it in Monster, upload it in Times Jobs, upload it in Indeed. Did you create your LinkedIn profile? LinkedIn also. Okay. So Sainiket, can you share some questions what you are getting in interview?
Recording stopped.
Can you put it in chat window? We are trying to Sainiket putting some questions. What is SDLC? What is STLC? That was the question. See, Sainiket is trying to help you guys. What question they are asking? If you are not concentrating, I will start the oops. I thought this will help you. They're asking SDLC. You guys know SDLC, right? ST also, you know, what is different regression testing and retesting? What is difference? Regression testing and retesting. Not automation, manual testing questions. No, what she's saying also performed in automation. So what is difference between regression testing and retesting? One by one. If everyone say, I will not be able to understand. Yeah. Regression testing of previous test cases performed by automation. Okay. Retesting. after the defect. Once the defect is fixed,